But regardless, it's so important to get that cross-departmental buy-in on what that attribution model is and how you're going to measure things before even moving a step further. Because if your sales leaders are doubting the efficacy of your model, or if the marketers are looking at it and saying, this doesn't give me a good view into my program success and I don't see my thing here showing up, then you're going to have a lot of people sort of detracting from it and polluting the overall message of your performance metrics and your success. So define your attribution model, get some buy-in on it, communicate about it very freely and openly across your organization so that everybody knows how do we measure it, why is it helpful to us, and how are we actually using this information to make smart decisions going forward. To give you a little bit of an insight into how we do it at Drift, we actually recently redefined our attribution model because it really wasn't driving the best decision-making for us. Marketing previously was not actually a contributing factor within our attribution model. We were an influencing factor across all of our different attribution categories, and it found it really difficult for us to actually tie results back to programs. So we revisited it in conjunction with sales ops, marketing operations, our channel team, our sales leaders. Everybody had some part in actually making this happen. And what we developed was a custom model. We're using a 90-day look back window to say, we have an opportunity that's created. Let's look at the 90 days prior and see what happened during those 90 days. The first touch that happened in that 90 days is the thing that gets the credit. And this is where we're drawing the line in the sand. We picked that window based off of what our average time to convert to an opportunity is after an engagement so that we can actually draw some sort of time frame around it. We don't want to give credit, opportunity credit necessarily to something that happened 3 years ago if it's not relevant to the actual opportunity life cycle today. So putting a time window around it, especially if you have a business that is more complex between business units and geographical structures, it's important to draw some parameters there. Again, we have shared responsibility between marketing and sales on these numbers, and we have monthly cross-functional meetings between all of the different stakeholders in the department to actually review the results, look at how we're tracking. Sometimes we break that down a little bit more granularly by program, looking at success by channel, maybe digging into individual sales teams or sales performers to actually hone in on the things that are working and the things that don't. So the next thing we do is we tie that back to ROI. I think this is really important because this helps us make very strategic decisions about where we spend our money, where we place our investments. And this is the key to unlocking the insights that your CMO wants to know about. So once you actually have your attribution model or able to tie your pipeline back to specific programs or channels, then you can actually look back at your spend, tie it back to the spend and say, here is the actual ROI of that program or that channel, or even just your marketing programs overall. There are a bunch of different things that you can look at within this. You should be looking at how long does it take to convert and how does that change depending on the channel or the tactic. What is the cost per lead or the cost per engaged account that you're driving? How much pipeline or close one revenue does that result in? What are the conversion rates? All of those different metrics are very important because they're the key to unlocking the right channel mix and tactic mix that will get you to results. So when we're going into a planning phase within marketing, we call it our spend impact calculator. This spend to impact calculator is really the basis of how we sort of benchmark success and look at our channels and say, all right, which are the ones that are performing the best? Which are the ones that relate to fast pipeline? And which are the ones that maybe are better for acquisition and relate to long-term pipeline? And how do we accurately balance those channels so that we have a good mix of things coming in at the top of the funnel that provide fast, easy wins, quick opportunities? And what are the things that are driving that maybe take a little bit longer to convert, but help brand awareness, help us spread the word, help us get into new industries or new markets that will set us up for longer term success. So understanding the impact of dollars in to what it relates to in dollars out it is the key to making smarter decisions within the marketing team. And it's also the key to being able to communicate that success to your executive leadership team, your board of directors, or your finance team, that you really need to show some way to advocate for getting the right budget from them. So tie it back to ROI, that's a very critical piece.